where is this coming from? I mean, do you have sex problems? Why you're interested in sex? And that's true what you say, and we as a group have to start to understand that if you claim it and say, well, this is what I'm doing and making things legitimate, then there's really no reason to hide about it, and there's really not as much reason to be afraid of what people are going to think about it. So that's very powerful.
It's true because there is such a mistaken knowledge about it, or I should say there isn't enough knowledge about it, that I tried to open a museum in many communities all over the country and was denied access to buildings that had been empty for years on end, and isolated buildings in the middle of nowhere. And the owners wouldn't rent to me because they heard the word erotica or erotic art and they saw only pornography. They couldn't distinguish that I'm going to be doing something legitimate.
Sure.
They thought I might be fronting for prostitution, pornography, drugs, anything except that it was legitimate.
Absolutely. Well, you know, walking through the collection, we see that. We see images of prostitution, we see images of drugs, we see images of sex. So can you explain to all of us the difference between erotic images and pornography?
It's very simple. The answer is in the word. It is erotic art. It is art. It has been made by artists who have talent, who have thought processes, who have ability, who have had experiences, who have had fantasies, who have had talent that is their own very personal thing, and they express it in the art. While pornography gives you only one message, let's get it on. You don't go any further than that.
Right, right. You know, and it's interesting because as you travel around and you look, even the erotic images, even they show signs of ejaculatory processes and body hair. And, you know, really when I first saw it, I was really shocked by that. And the way, you know, the erotic images portray body parts kind of either grossly enlarged or grossly smaller than that. And when you were taking me through the gallery, you were telling me the difference between Chinese erotic images and Japanese erotic images as we were going through the gallery back there. Can you explain that to everyone?
Yes, when you look at a Japanese painting, they focus in on the genitalia. It's enlarged and it's focused in on. In the Chinese, it's smaller, not focused on, and just normal and proportionate to the rest of the body. It's not that the Japanese are claiming that they're bigger, because they're not. What they're trying to tell you is the fact that a poet and an author give you their messages in words. An artist gives it in what they create. And in that creation by the Japanese artists, they are extolling, again, fertility. We look today at a penis, at a vagina, and say, oh my God, it's sex. Mm-hmm. In the ancient cultures, they only looked at that those were the normal and natural parts of the body that are used to create people, to keep ongoing generations. It is that essence of erotica that creates us and keeps us going as a people, a nation, a country, a world. Without eroticism, we'd be down the tubes. There'd just be no more people.
Absolutely.
So the ancient cultures were smarter than us in that they accepted it, that it was normal, expected, not to be hidden away, not to be ashamed of, but acceptance of it.
Then I'm assuming that a lot of these images that we're seeing weren't hidden in the back closet.
True.
Okay.
We find many things that were actually parts of households. There are antique, ancient oil lamps that were used to cook with, or to heat with, or to light with. There are amulets that were worn around the neck for protection and power. There are edifices and pieces that were broken away from statues and cornices and things in the home. That they felt that the more genitalia that was exposed, the luckier they would be in having more children.
Okay, that makes sense. The more genitalia that's exposed, ladies, that's kind of like if you're walking around naked throughout the week, you're more likely to get pregnant that month than the months where you are fully clothed. So that's absolutely correct. Now, could you explain, now there's this chair back there. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the chair has, you know, it's got a couple penises on it. It's this regal chair. It's got red fabric. It's got gold detail on it. It even has, if you look closely down below, it even has a vagina with a tongue kind of coming out. Looking at whose chair was that, and where is that coming from?
It is a replica of a chair that is reputed to have belonged to Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia. And if you look on the wall on the left side of the room when you enter that room, you'll see a picture of a very similar chair. That is the original chair that a German soldier at the end of World War I came across a deserted palace in the woods and saw that room filled with erotic furniture and photographed it. He kept those pictures. He then went back at the end of the war, and meanwhile there had been a major fire in the palace. The war had ended. They don't know whether the Russians had destroyed the furniture, that they were embarrassed that their Tsar had such furniture in her possession, or whether the communists took it, or whether the Germans took it, or whether it had been destroyed in the fire. There was nothing that remained except his pictures, and he published them in a book. So from that picture, I had an artist friend create the chair.
Oh, if you guys haven't seen the chair on the break, please make your way back to see this chair, because it's amazing. It's got phallic symbols, not even just symbols. They actually look like penises that she had engulfing and surrounding her. So you have to check out this chair. Now, for those of you who weren't able to join us, well, you know, we're still here. We're at the World Erotic Art Museum, located at 1205 Washington Avenue, right down here in South Beach. And we're sitting here talking to Naomi Witzig. She is the curator of this fabulous, fabulous museum. And so while you guys are driving around, we're going to take a little walk and kind of see some of these things we just talked about. Now, we're going to talk about the passion parties too. We're going to bring up some things that vibrate, make noise, and make you make noise. So stay tuned, 877-825-1080.